Welcome back. We're here to talk about Saturday's Premier League match between Watford and Swansea. We'll start with the visitors, Pascal, still unbeaten after a fantastic win against Manchester United last time out.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant start, hasn't it? They played Chelsea United in two of their first four games. They got 4 points from those games. They draw at Chelsea on the opening day was fantastic, and then to beat United at home, so impressive. They fell behind as well to Juan Mata there, but the way they fought back, Gomez and Ayew again, the sort of two stars of the early part of the season, both on the score sheet again. It's such a good start for them, and you think now that they really do look primed. They're sitting fourth at the moment, but they do look primed to maybe sort of upset Liverpool and Spurs there in fifth and sixth, and maybe do what Southampton did last season. And if they can do that, I know last season was their record points haul in the Premier League. Gary Monk last season, fantastic job, but just gone from strength to strength so far this season by the looks of things. And you have to say it's been a fantastic start for them. And if they could, break into that top six, it would be such an achievement for a side like Swansea.
Yeah, they certainly started very well. I think the key thing for them as the season progresses is, are their best players going to keep up this sort of form? Obviously, you mentioned Gomez and Ayew, they both started the season so well. Gomez got 4 in his first 4 games, looking for 4 and 5. I think only 4 players or something have ever done that in Premier League history, so that'd be some feat. He's got 9 and 10 stretching back to last season as well, so he's in great form. Ayew, he's got 3 and 4, could have had 4 and 4. His assist for Gomez's goal against Manchester United, the winner, was superb as well. He looks like a class buy. He looks such a good piece of business from Swansea, whose scouts seem to have done it again. Shelvey in the middle of the park, he's earned an England call-up. For England, he was man of the match against San Marino, but when things got a bit tougher against Switzerland, he struggled a bit more. I think he's still learning at that level, but at Premier League level, he's really starting to have an influence now. And then further back, Ashley Williams has made a really good start to the season, so that spine is doing so well for them so far, and the longer that can carry on, they'll fancy their chance of beating anyone in the form they're in at the moment.
Certainly will do. And I think the big thing for Swansea is they got their business done early in the summer window. You look at some of the other teams like West Ham making all those signings on deadline day. But you look at Swansea, they had all that money from the Wilfred Bonney sale in January, but they got it done early. Ayew came in early. There's still a lot of the team there is pretty much the same side they had last season, but a lot of the other players, the fringe players, they got all of that business done early. So he's built sort of a good harmonious squad. The only thing that really happened on deadline day was Nathan Dyer going to Leicester on a season-long loan. I think that would have surprised some people that Swansea let him go, because he's certainly had his moments since they've come up to the Premier League. But I think now when you look at the other players, they've got Montero's a class act down the wing. Ayew, like you've talked about, has had a great start. So I think Gary Monk might have just felt that he probably wasn't going to get enough football as he wanted, and fair play to sending him out on loan, because they could have kept him. I think they've bought back Barrow from Blackburn. They've sort of bought him back as cover. Dyer could have been that cover. They could have kept him as cover, but you have to say fair play for allowing Dyer to go out and get more football at Leicester. So that's good. But it's been a great start for Swansea. But I think the one thing, if you had to say them, if they were really going to sort of push the top six, they've got to improve on is keeping teams shut out away from home. They've only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 6 Premier League away games, so that's one thing they've got to improve on. But apart from that, you have to say on the whole it's been a brilliant start.
Yeah, they might have a good chance improving that against Watford. Watford's still looking for their first win of the season. It hasn't been a terrible start to the season for them. They lost to Manchester City last time out. No shame in that. I was predicting 4-5-0 in that game, but the goal fest never really arrived. Watford did well to frustrate them for the first half. Always seemed like City were going to win that match, and eventually Sterling and Fernandinho scored the goals to make sure they do. No surprises there, but Watford, they'll take some positives out of that. They wouldn't have been expecting much going into that game. I think out of the 3 newly promoted sides, to be honest, all 3 have impressed me. Norwich probably should have had more points than they do have on the board. Bournemouth, probably the same actually. They played well in pretty much all of their games so far, and they've both picked up wins. I think the most important thing now for Watford is to get that first win under the belt. You'd probably say out of the 3 newly promoted teams, they've been the least impressive so far, but they've shown enough in these first few games, despite not picking up a win, to suggest that they'll put up a fight for survival this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing for them as well as that first win, is scoring goals as well, because on the first day of the season at Everton they looked really dangerous in that game. Everton weren't at their best, but Watford could have easily won that game. It was a 2-2 draw. They got 2 there, but since then they have struggled in their last 2 games. They haven't even got a single shot on target. The 0-0 draw against Southampton, and then at City, not a single shot on target is surprising, considering this is a team who were just outscoring teams for fun in the Championship last season. It's Troy Deeney hasn't started as well as many people would have thought. You see how well Callum Wilson's doing at Bournemouth. I thought Deeney might have done better than Wilson this season, but so far it's proven the other way. But I think certainly, Igalo, he started well with that great goal against Everton, but he's gone a bit cold. And Deeney's played 90 minutes in every game, so obviously Flores is the new manager. He's coming. He still trusts Deeney. Still the sort of the standout striker up front, but he hasn't quite got his goal. And they've just signed so many new players. 14 new players I think it is they've signed this summer window, and you just wonder if it's going to be such a tough job for Flores to sort of gel those players together. And even on deadline day, they signed Guardiola, who was great for them on loan from Palace last season. They got Ulare, sort of a young Belgian striker who's been compared to Benteke, but he's being touted as one more for the future. And you think at this stage you probably need to sign players who are going to keep you in the league this first season, whereas young players, Ulare, Ibarbo's another one they signed. You think these kind of players, they might be sort of the odd impact player, but you wonder if all these foreign faces they've signed, they've let players go like Angelo, their defender. I was surprised to see they let him go. I just don't know if they've quite signed the right players to keep you in the league. I think they're trying to maybe do too much too soon, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I do worry about Watford a little bit.
Contrasting fortune so far this season then, which way do you see this one going?
I know Swansea have had a great start, but I think Watford might get a draw out of this one. I just think Watford, they've had that 2-week break now, and I think they still have got a lot of quality players in that squad, so I think they might just get a point here. I'm going to go for 1-1 draw.
Well, Swansea have really impressed me. I can't really back against them at the moment. Watford's still looking for that first win. Swansea unbeaten. I think Swansea might run out winners here again. Obviously, they've performed well against Chelsea already. They performed well against Manchester United coming from behind. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Swansea victory here. So we're going for 1 Swansea victory and a draw. Thanks for joining us.